And when Michaela and Connor got arrested. And there's a fucking blender blending right now. What the fuck? So this video is going to be about episode 10 of How to Get Away with Murder 6th season, titled, We're Not Getting Away With It, but aren't they? It'll be a recap sprinkled with some future predictions of where I think the show could be going, and yes, there will be spoilers. Anyway, I'm so happy to be back on the YouTubes and glad to be back with you. So, thank you for watching. And if you enjoy my content, don't forget to hit subscribe and that thumbs up to see more videos like this one. And I guess I should explain where I've been for the last 3 months. So if you're curious, you can stick around to the end for that. Otherwise, let's get started. So this episode was filled with past scenes and present scenes and then scenes in different countries, and it was a little hard to keep up, but I did it. And I'm also a little rusty, so fair warning, this video is probably gonna be all over the place. So let's start with that beautiful opening scene, which parallels my personal all-time favorite scene of the entire series from season 1, episode 4, which ends in the best line of all time. Why is your penis on a dead girl's phone? Anyway, while Annalise is while Justine is oot in a boot trying to build her new life, Michaela and Connor are being booked for the murder of Asher. Then, while all that is happening, Oliver's trying to see his bae, and then he discovers that the footage from the Keating crib has been deleted. Okay, theory time. Who did that? I know Oliver said the Castillos, but that's entirely too obvious. And I know everyone keeps pointing their fingers at the Castillos throughout this entire episode, and I get it. They run a telecommunications company, blah, 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 but I don't buy it. And we'll dive into that a little bit later. First, we get confirmation that the picture shown to Connor was indeed Asher, so only one death happened. Lame. Kidding. But what I do find interesting is Pam, Connor's mom, showing up and then attacking Oliver for not manning up, which, hold on just 1 second. You do not get to come at Oliver like that. Even though I've been saying he's probably the informant, still is the informant since the very beginning of the season, you don't know him like that, Pam. Anyway, that leads to the scene we got with Oliver confessing, and it totally makes sense now. But here's the thing, I still don't trust him. And I'll explain why in a sec. But first, Gabriel gets questioned by the FBI and he said he didn't kill Asher. And quite frankly, I believe him. Then there's this Tegan and Bonnie scene, and then Bonnie somehow knows the truth about Laurel. Okay, so yeah, we finally get to see what happened when Asher gets to Bonnie's place. And before we talk about that, can we just talk about the audacity of Asher trying to get Bonnie caught up too? Now look, yes, poor Asher. Poor Asher. I'm personally still broken up about his death. But boy does not quit, and I get it. He's desperate at this point, but he thought he was slick. So anyway, Bonnie calls Frank because she ain't no fool, and then Frank ends up driving Asher home. And that's when I can say these writers know exactly what they're doing, because when I saw those two in the car, I was like, he gonna kill him. But again, too obvious. And I know, Bonnie and Frank are basically pros at lying about killing people. How Frank killed Lila and Dominic without hesitation, and then Bonnie killed Miller and Rebecca. Spoiler alert? They can teach a full virtual online class about how to get away with murder by themselves at this point. And I say virtual because of the whole self-quarantining thing and stuff. And then we're thrust back into the present where Mama Wash is throwing shade at AK. Which, first off, no. You don't get to come at her like that either. And second, it looks like Connor's been talking about this whole situation to a lot more people than we actually knew. And I'm actually curious to find out what all she actually knows. And as a matter of fact, she and Connor's dad, I don't remember his name, are on my radar now because they seem to have a personal vendetta against Annalise. But in all seriousness, who doesn't at this point? Am I right? Long story short, Tegan tries to represent Michaela and Connor, and then Bonnie tries to represent Oliver. And I'm assuming you know he's arrested at this point because of his confession. Anyway, he's arrested because of his confession, and now Bonnie represents him. But Tegan gets denied because Connor's pops calls the best lawyer he knows, and then Michaela calls her dad. And before we move on, I just want to say I absolutely love that scene between Tegan and Michaela. In fact, I was convinced that she would have accepted her offer to be her lawyer. I also love how Tegan put Michaela in her place when she tried to blame her for not telling the truth about hiding Laurel. As it stands now though, apparently Laurel blackmailed Tegan because she had the whistleblower information and she was trying to hide herself and Christopher from her brother Xavier. And I'm going on record now and saying that there's a lot more to that. Now, I do think that Laurel did leave on her own accord, but there's a lot more to it than just some blackmail. I'm talking Wes, I'm talking Sandrine, and who all else is alive in there and shit. Side note, no, they don't address Wes in this episode, so there's that. Final point before moving on, that scene between Michaela and her dad was just beautiful. Still don't trust him, and truthfully, Who do I trust at this point? But it was still a beautiful scene. Okay, that car scene between Frank and Asher though. Tell me you weren't sitting there like, tense. But again, much too obvious. And I can comfortably say that Frank didn't do it. He seems to be telling everybody that Xavier did, which is valid. And speaking of tense, that court scene was fire. I had no idea where any of it was gonna go. In any case, Ollie gets out on bail. Michaela and Connor do not. And then Chloe has an outburst in court. She's gonna be trouble, and it's definitely not the last time we're gonna see her. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Back to Frank and Asher. So Frank walked Asher up to his apartment because he's such a gentleman, and then they're playing this dance of I know that he knows, that I know, that he knows, I know he knows, I know, or whatever. And that was tense too. This episode did phenomenal with building tension throughout. Anyway, while Frank pretends to use the bathroom, he snoops through Asher's bathroom, and then he checks the loose panel under the sink where Weightless/Wes used to keep all his little goodies and stuff. Now, we don't get to see what or if he finds anything, but I think he does, and I think it's gonna be like some random shit that doesn't come to play until like the final episode or something. But I literally have no idea what it could be. I mean, it could be like a document, a burner phone, or a key. I'm just really just spouting off different things that this show has found in secret hiding places. Wouldn't you know what, Asher tries to sweet talk Frank into a confession too? Now you know he had to be way desperate to try to pull a fast one on Frank. And I know I said that Frank was way too obvious, but when they hugged each other, I swear, I did not breathe until they let go of each other. So yeah, Frank leaves, and then Asher calls someone, but they don't answer, and then he doesn't leave a message. So, who is that? Not the FBI in my opinion, but if you think about that point in the past, who do we know knew Asher was the mole? Michaela, Connor, Ollie, Frank, Bonnie, and the FBI. Who would he call? AK, her phone would have went straight to voicemail. But honestly, I don't think it's any of those people. And I know I keep saying later, but it'll make sense in a bit. Moving on, Bonnie tells Frank the truth about Laurel, and then of course he goes and confronts Tegan. I love the scene too, but honestly, if Tegan's in the scene, I'm probably gonna love it. But I did like how we find out that Tegan was hurt that AK left, and that Tegan wouldn't hesitate to mace Frank to get to her car, which is probably one of my favorite lines in this episode. There wasn't all much else here. In fact, I think it's more of just a let's get over this whole Laurel Tegan drama. We have 5 episodes left, and we can't have the whole Tegan did what thing bogging the story down. Moving right along, the FBI meet with Connor, his parents, and his lawyer, and Michaela, her dad, and her lawyer. 3 points I want to touch here. Hey, I love how similar and intelligent Michaela and Connor are. Like, they held their own in that meeting. It's you. When the FBI laid down every murder and everything they've been connected to over the last 5 seasons, I got itches. I am so glad I'm not on this show because I would have confessed to everything as soon as they laid down the picture of Miller. Number 3, the FBI offers Connor and Michaela an immunity deal where they serve 5 years, which could potentially be reduced if they confess and then testify against Annalise, saying that she ordered them to kill Sam. Now let's pause here for one hot second. I've said it once, and I'm going to say it again. This has to be Hannah Keating. This is personal, and the FBI is doing shady things and going hard to get Annalise. But who do they seem the most concerned about? Miller? Nah. St. Clair? No. Denver? Denver who? No. Sam, some random psychologist. And I get it. Murder is murder. But why are they so hell-bent on getting justice for Sam? Answer, his sister. Again, this just seems so personal. Someone wants justice and Annalise, and the only person I can think about is Hannah Keating. Mark my words, she will be making a return before this show is over. Okay, unpause. We're back at Asher's place. He's pacing back and forth listening to his failed confession trap he tried to set for Frank and Bonnie. Then he gets pissed, and in true poor anger management form, he throws his phone against the wall and breaks it. This scene in particular sparked conspiracy in me for some reason. Now, hear me out. Asher is desperate. He's pacing back and forth. He's listening to the recordings over and over, and I don't know if it's the editor in me, but I almost feel like he was maybe thinking about fabricating his own confession, maybe like splicing things together. I don't know. Like, if it was me, that's how my thought process would go. But it sounds kind of stupid. So let me know what you think. It'll probably be better than mine. So Nate goes to see Bonnie, and then prior to that, actually, Frank goes to see Nate and questions him about Annalise. And these scenes happened. Now, I'm not quite sure what's gonna come of this, and honestly, I was way too preoccupied with the whole Michaela Connor drama and then trying to figure out what happened in the flashbacks with Asher, and I really didn't get to dissect these smaller scenes the way I would have wanted to. Moving on, Oliver's trying to convince Connor to take the deal while Solomon is doing the same for Michaela, and honestly, I think Annalise leaving the country at this point was probably the worst decision she could have made. It really got used as fuel to turn the Keating crew against her, and I'm really interested to see how they're going to interact when they get back, because right now, they're kind of all in it to put her away. Speaking of which, let's talk about that scene with the FBI agents and that lawyer that tried to keep Connor and Michaela in jail. Why is she so involved? Like, what's her motive? Like, is she just out to get justice, or is it the governor, or maybe she's working for the Castillos, or the true evil mastermind behind all of this? Kidding. Regardless, there's something fishy going on with her, just like everyone else in this show. Back to Asher. All this Asher stuff is going on. Gabriel is home, and he's still listening to his recorded altercation with Frank. Now, when Asher breaks his phone, I'm unclear whether or not that weird look he gives the wall that's separating him and Gabriel was just because he remembered Gabriel existed, or if he overheard some of the recorded altercation. But if it is the latter, I like to think that adds more fuel to my whole Asher was planning something fire. Regardless of that, which will probably go nowhere, Asher does go to see Gabriel, and I called that glance down back in episode 9, that Gabriel opened the door, he looked, glanced down at Asher's shirt, and he was looking at the blood on his shirt. I'm not right very often, but when I am, I like to celebrate it. So we're gonna take 3 seconds and just celebrate. Yes. Anyway, moving on. Asher needs Gabriel's phone, and he decides to trade the $64,000 C&G check that he got for solving Annalise's last test for it. Okay, so they do make the trade because we later on see Gabriel with the check, unless Gabriel killed Asher, which I don't think so. Again, it's way too obvious. But I am curious, did Gabriel wiped the phone before he gave it to Asher? And then why did Asher need a phone so bad? Like, who the hell was he trying to call? Cool, so now Michaela and Connor are released because, surprise, surprise, they signed the immunity deal. But with one stipulation. They will only sign if Annalise, and only Annalise, is the one that goes down for all the crimes. And let me tell you, that was the sweetest damn scene I've ever seen on this damn show. Just seeing Michaela and Connor protect each other and then run up to each other in that big reunion hug, I legit got teary-eyed, and I am not afraid to admit it because men can cry too. Then Solomon gives us this look, and I'm like, wait, what's going on here right now? And then lo and behold, he sells up Annalise's location, which I know he would after talking all that smack about Annalise, and then the fact that he's the one that set the whole thing up for her to change her life. Wow, I just realized I haven't once mentioned what Annalise has been up to. So yeah, she's in another country. She meets up with her guide who's supposed to help her change her identity, but right before they bounce, she hesitates and runs, resulting in her being arrested in what it seems like. So that's it. That's really all she was doing, and although I did enjoy this episode, I do gotta say I did miss me some Annalise Keating, and am low-key glad she got caught, because at least that means she'll be featured a little bit more in the next episode, and then based off the promo, it looks like she's not in jail yet, so I'm curious to see how that all works out. One thing bothered me though, unless I missed something, I'm not 100% sure why she didn't go with her get out of jail free guide. Like, what did she notice about the driver that deterred her? Like, did he work for the Castillos? Did he look familiar? Was she just guilty and wanted to go home? We still don't know what happened between her apartment and the airport, and I have a feeling it has something to do with that, or she was just being paranoid. I don't know. Let me know your theories down below. I'm curious to hear what you actually think. So that was the episode, and this is the we'll get to it later part I kept mentioning. 3 things. Number 1, for some reason, I still don't trust Oliver. Sorry. The fact that he's the one that got the mushrooms that day, he was coincidentally wearing Laurel's gloves, so his fingerprints were on the fireplace poker, he's the one that hit Asher, and then the security footage gets wiped. Aside from that, I do recall Xavier mentioning an informant back when Frank confronted him, and that was well before Asher became an informant. And we do see the FBI trying to turn all the students against Annalise, so it is a possibility that there is another informant that's out there. On top of that, Oliver has always been an advocate for Annalise. And now all of a sudden he's like, screw Annalise, take the deal, babe. And I know, if my partner was facing life in prison, I would be saying Annalise who just as fast. But there's just still something that has me suspicious about Oliver. Like, we still don't know which fireplace poker was at the scene of the crime. Was it the one from Annalise's apartment, or was it the one from the Keating pad? Like, if it's the one from the Keating pad, it's possible that Oliver just wanted to finish what he started. We still don't know what really happened between the time that Asher left their house and when Michaela and Connor got arrested. And even his confession for killing Asher, it could be a means of just throwing everybody off of his scent. A stretch, I know, but how much of what Oliver does is actually calculated? He's smart. Number 2, Asher. What do we know so far? He was the informant. He made a phone call. He saw Gabriel shortly before he was murdered, and he was bludgeoned to death, so it wasn't Oliver's hit to the head. Supposedly. Literally everyone is a suspect at this point, and I actually don't think we're gonna find out who did it until much later in the season, but I don't think it's someone who's currently starring on the show. In fact, I think it may be related to that phone call. Maybe he called someone with Gabriel's phone and that person showed up and was the one that ended up killing him. By the way, I'm saying no to it being a Castillo, but I don't know, it might be someone who has a strong connection to a Castillo, or someone who is supposed to be dead, or someone who might be speaking at Annalise. It's Wes. I think it could be Wes. We still don't know how he's connected and or if he's alive. How trippy would it be if Asher knew that Wes was alive this entire time and that's the person that he was trying to reach? Wes was an informant at one point. That could have been the informant that Xavier was alluding to. Maybe they needed Asher to get tangible proof, like a confession, like proof that a dead man couldn't get. Now, the motives for killing Asher could just be a way to frame the rest of the group, but like I said in my Wes is Alive video, I'm not sure why Wes would actually want to convict the group, or if he'd even go as far as killing Asher. I don't, point is, I just don't think it's someone who's currently being featured on the show, and it's gonna be someone we're gonna be surprised to see. Hell, it could have been Governor Burkhead for all that we know. I just think that the key lies in that phone call, even if that person isn't the one that killed Asher. Finally, number 3. That's 6. Anyway, Annalise, finally, number 3. Y'all, is Annalise really gonna die? Because I've been saying it's a lie since like day 1, but she was only gone for like, what, a day? Like, I don't think they would have her change her identity, fail, but then change her identity again. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. And now Michaela and Connor have immunity deals. Laurel is gone. Asher is dead. Wes is supposedly dead, but then speaks at her funeral. I have no idea how this is going to be resolved in 5 episodes, and it's really stressing me out. So yeah, that's it. This is normally the part where I read my top 3 favorite comments from the last video I made, but because there are so many comments, I'm going to refer to the comments here for the next video. So if you posted a good comment in the Wes is Alive video, feel free to copy and paste it here so that I can read it and it can be considered to be featured in the next video. Finally, and this will be quick, but over the last 3 months, I just needed to take a break. I moved to a new city. I was working full time. I was doing freelance stuff on the side. I was trying to make new friends, which I didn't, and just trying to really integrate myself into said city. So adding YouTube on top of that was just completely stressful, and I am so sorry that I disappeared, but my mental health needed to just really recalibrate. But I'm back, so thank you so much for sticking with me and interacting with my videos, like still, and being the best damn people on the planet for supporting my content. Like, seriously, each and every one of you is amazing. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment below with your thoughts, theories, predictions, all of them. I'm excited to read them. And if you'd like to watch a recap video of any of the other episodes this season, you know, just watch one here. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, it really helps me out. Then subscribe and decide a notification bell. Until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds.